Every morning, before the world fully wakes up, your body is already making decisions about how fast you will age, not based on your genes alone, not based on luck, but based on signals, quiet, invisible signals. Signals from movement, from hunger, from light, from stillness, from intention. And one of the most powerful signals you can send is deceptively simple: a 30-minute walk while fasting. Aging is not just time passing, it is biology responding, cells responding, mitochondria listening, genes waking up or going silent. Your body is not a passive victim of the calendar, it is an adaptive system, constantly asking one question: what kind of environment am I in right now? Scarcity or abundance? Danger or comfort? Movement or stagnation? When you walk while fasting, you recreate a biological environment that shaped the human body for hundreds of thousands of years. No breakfast, no sugar spike, no insulin surge. Just motion, breath, and stored energy being unlocked. In that moment, your body stops acting like a storage unit and starts acting like a survival machine. Blood sugar begins to fall, not dangerously, but deliberately. Insulin drops, and when insulin drops, a gate opens. Fat cells that were once sealed shut begin to release energy. Triglycerides break apart. Fatty acids flood the bloodstream, not as a threat, but as fuel. Your muscles don't complain, they adapt. They burn cleaner, steadier energy. This is metabolic flexibility, the ability to switch fuels without chaos, and it is one of the clearest markers of longevity. Inside your cells, something even profound begins. Low insulin and rising AMP levels activate AMPK, the master energy sensor. AMPK does not negotiate. It shifts the body from growth mode to repair mode. It tells cells to stop building and start cleaning. Autophagy begins quietly, like a night crew repairing a city while everyone sleeps. Damaged proteins are dismantled, old cellular parts are recycled, waste that accelerates aging is removed. Your mitochondria, the engines of life, respond with urgency. They become more efficient, more resilient. New mitochondria are signaled to form, a process called mitochondrial biogenesis. This is not fitness, this is cellular renewal. Stronger mitochondria mean less oxidative stress, more stable energy, and slower biological aging. And all of this is happening while you're just walking. No gym, no supplements, no complexity, just a body remembering what it was designed to do. As your feet strike the ground rhythmically, another system awakens, your vascular system. Blood flow increases, not violently, but intelligently. Sheer stress gently brushes the inner lining of your arteries, stimulating nitric oxide production. Nitric oxide is not a trend, it is a molecule of youth. It relaxes blood vessels, improves circulation, lowers blood pressure, and protects the endothelium, the delicate inner skin of your arteries that decides whether your heart thrives or fails. While fasting, this effect is amplified. Without the oxidative burden of digestion, your blood becomes clearer, less inflamed. Inflammatory markers like CRP and TNF-alpha begin to quiet. This matters because inflammation is not just pain, it is accelerated aging. Chronic inflammation stiffens arteries, damages DNA, and shortens telomeres, the protective caps at the ends of your chromosomes that dictate how many times a cell can divide before it dies. Walking in a fasted state sends a different message to your genes. It activates sirtuins, longevity proteins, sometimes called the guardians of the genome. Sirtuins repair DNA, stabilize chromosomes, and improve metabolic efficiency. They are switched on by scarcity, movement, and mild stress. Not trauma, not exhaustion, just enough challenge to remind the body it must stay sharp. This is hormesis, the biological principle that small stressors make you stronger. Just as muscles grow by being challenged, cells become more resilient when they are gently pushed. Fasting plus walking is hormesis in motion. It is controlled stress with exponential return. Your brain, too, is changing. As fat is burned, ketone bodies are produced, not just fuel, but signaling molecules. Ketones increase BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. BDNF is fertilizer for the brain. It enhances memory, protects neurons, and reduces the risk of neurodegenerative disease. This is why many people report clarity, calm, even creativity during fasted walks. The mind becomes quieter, not because it is weak, but because it is efficiently fueled. Stress hormones shift as well. Cortisol rises slightly, sharpening focus, mobilizing energy. But because movement buffers stress, cortisol does not spiral. Instead, it teaches the nervous system balance. The body learns that stress does not always mean danger. Sometimes it means adaptation. And adaptation is the currency of longevity. Each step becomes a biological vote against frailty, against insulin resistance, against stagnation, against the slow suffocation of modern comfort. This is not about burning calories. Calories are a crude measurement. This is about information. Movement while fasting sends a clear, ancient message. We are alert. We are capable. We are meant to survive. As the walk continues, the clock inside your body, the circadian rhythm, begins to synchronize. Morning light entering your eyes resets the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the master clock in the brain. Hormones align. Cortisol peaks naturally. Melatonin retreats. This timing matters more than most people realize. Circadian misalignment accelerates aging at the cellular level. It disrupts insulin sensitivity, increases inflammation, and impairs mitochondrial function. A fasted morning walk is not just exercise, it is circadian medicine. Muscle contractions during the walk act like endocrine organs, releasing myokines, chemical messengers that communicate with the liver, fat tissue, brain, and immune system. These myokines improve glucose uptake without insulin, reduce visceral fat, and enhance immune surveillance. This is why movement protects against disease far beyond what weight loss alone can explain. Deep in your cells, NAD+ levels begin to matter. NAD+ is a molecule required for energy production and DNA repair. It declines with age, dragging vitality down with it. Fasting and exercise both increase NAD+ availability, indirectly supporting sirtuin activity and mitochondrial health. You are not just preserving energy, you are preserving the molecules that allow repair to happen. This is where discipline becomes biology. The decision to walk while fasting is not willpower for its own sake. It is identity reinforcement. Each morning, you are telling your nervous system who you are, someone who chooses delayed gratification, someone who trusts adaptation over indulgence, someone who understands that comfort is not the same as safety. The body responds accordingly. Fat around the organs, visceral fat, the most dangerous kind, becomes metabolically active and vulnerable. It releases inflammatory cytokines less aggressively. Over time, it shrinks. Liver fat decreases. Insulin sensitivity improves. The pancreas rests. The metabolic burden lightens. And then there is something harder to measure, but impossible to ignore: resilience. Your nervous system becomes less reactive. Heart rate variability improves, signaling better autonomic balance. You become harder to knock off center. Hunger becomes a sensation, not a command. Stress becomes information, not an emergency. This is not deprivation. This is training. Training the body to remember abundance comes from competence, not constant intake. When the walk ends, the effects do not stop. They echo. For hours, your body remains in a heightened state of fat oxidation. Insulin sensitivity stays improved. Muscles continue pulling glucose from the bloodstream like sponges once food is reintroduced, directing nutrients toward repair instead of storage. This is how biological age begins to separate from chronological age. Sleep later that night becomes deeper. Growth hormone pulses more effectively. Cells repair. Synapses reset. The immune system recalibrates. Aging slows not because time pauses, but because damage is repaired faster than it accumulates. This is the quiet power of consistency, not extremes, not punishment, just alignment with biology. 30 minutes, that's all it takes to remind trillions of cells what they were built for, to flip genetic switches shaped by evolution, to activate pathways that medicine is still trying to imitate in pill form. You are not fragile, you are adaptive. The modern world has convinced you that comfort is health, that fullness is safety, that stillness is rest, but your cells tell a different story. They thrive on rhythm, on challenge, on purpose, on the subtle friction that forces renewal. Walking while fasting is not a hack, it is a return. A return to mornings where the body moves before it consumes, where energy is earned before it is spent, where hunger sharpens awareness instead of creating fear. This practice does not promise immortality, nothing does, but it offers something more realistic and more powerful: agency. The ability to influence how you age, how clearly you think, how strongly your heart beats, how long your independence lasts. Longevity is not added at the end of life, it is built quietly each morning. And every time you step outside, fasted, moving, breathing, alert, you are not just exercising, you are communicating with your biology, and your biology is listening.